Hello, everyone. Welcome to Christopher's Entertainment Blog. I am your host, Chris. Welcome to my 100% spoiler filled review for Ant Man, um, the last of the Phase 2 films for Marvel. It's finally over for Phase 2, on to Phase 3 for next year. Ant Man is the final film. I just got done seeing it actually last night. Um, so I've had like a few hours or whatever to actually ponder on this film. For me personally, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I think it was one of the better ones that Marvel has done, other than the Avengers, in a while. And actually, I actually kind of like this film a little more than actually Age of Ultron. A little bit more, actually, believe it or not. There's a few mixed reviews here and there for Ant Man. Some like it, some don't. But all film and everything is subjective there. So, um, for me personally, though, I enjoyed it. I thought it had a lot of funny moments. And I really enjoyed Paul Rudd as Ant Man. I wasn't sure how they were going to make the whole Hank Pym, Scott Lang thing work. At the beginning, years ago, I thought for sure they were going to focus on Hank Pym. That would be the logical choice. But they made this work to say that Hank Pym is an older man now and Scott's coming in. It works. And Michael Douglas was fantastic. I enjoyed him as Hank Pym. Evangeline Lilly as his daughter Hope. I liked her a lot as well. I like Evangeline anyway. So um, I thought she did fantastic. And the end credit scene with her becoming the Wasp now. I mean, that's big. I mean, she's going to be around for a while then. She's going to be the Wasp, and then Ant-Man as well is going to be back, of course, and I'm sure Hank Pym as well, Michael Douglas. I mean, he's still around, so I'm sure we will see him again. I don't see why not. There was a lot of this was a little comparable to Iron Man a little bit, like the first Iron Man, a little bit, where you have this, you know, guy that's evil in some ways and wants to take this suit and become powerful and use it for war or something bad. Just like in the first Iron Man, where he wanted to take the Iron Man suit. And, they had some differences. Tony wanted to do good with it. And, so this one is kind of the same, where Corey Stoll as Yellow Jacket. I really like Corey Stoll. I mean, I think he's fantastic as well. The whole cast I thought was fantastic, but um, I thought he did a fantastic job as Yellow Jacket. There's a lot of people saying, well, Yellow Jacket wasn't, he didn't do a lot. He wasn't very interesting, yada, yada. But I actually thought he was a cool character as Yellow Jacket with the suit on. It is a shame that we're not going to get to see more of him because that suit was awesome. I really did think that suit was cool. And it's one of those like one and done type villains to introduce the hero of our story, kind of like Jeff Bridges was to Iron Man. I mean, one of those characters that's pretty cool. Villain, has a motivation. Some say they didn't have much motivation, but I mean, he was just a bad guy. He's just a bad guy that wants to do bad things with this suit, make money. So that's what it is. I mean, he's not like this huge like developed villain like Loki is. I mean, Loki is like the best. He's not like a never a never ending villain that just keeps going and going and going. I mean, like Loki or Thanos, apparently, hopefully. Um, so he's not like one of them. I mean, he's like one of these just one and done villains. Like Ronan the Accuser was in Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, he was a one and done guy. It's just and I like Ronan the Accuser as well. I mean, but they're just these guys. They're not, these villains aren't really developed a lot. I mean, you only have like 2 hours to show a new new heroes, new places, a new villain, and try to develop all these characters all at the same time. It's kind of difficult to put in 2 hour film. But yeah, I liked Yellow Jacket. Corey Stoll was great. It showed that these Pym particles or whatever was messing with his head. Hank Pym said that he was unstable to begin with, so now he's getting really messed up, messing around with this other suit and these particles and whatnot. Um, we didn't get a lot of the backstory on those two of the Corey Stoll character. I'm forgetting his name. Um, um, I'm forgetting the Corey Stoll actual character. I don't know if I can look it up real quick. I know somebody. I know you're shouting at me like, he's this guy. So let's see. Darren Cross. That's who it was. All right, Darren Cross. There was not a lot of backstory between Hank Pym, Darren Cross. Like, I mean, he said that he chose him because he saw himself in him, and then he's like, "Well, why'd you leave me go?" He said, "I seen too much of myself." So I guess there was some, bad stuff going on there that he thought that he was a genius guy, the right guy for the job, but then after a while he seen that he was unstable and really wanted to do some bad things with this technology. He didn't entrust him with that, so Hank Pym decided to get out. And so, and of course, Darren Cross continued with this work, and then found this whole, being able to shrink, the whole Yellow Jacket thing, and the whole Ant-Man suit. So I mean, there wasn't a lot of development there, and I'm gonna have to see the film several more times. But overall, I really liked Darren Cross' character for what he is, to show that he was a bad guy, wanted to do bad things, introduced the Yellow Jacket, introduced the Ant-Man and what he can do, introduced these characters for more films down the line and Civil War and whatnot. I think he served his purpose, and I enjoyed it. I like this. I like the Yellow Jacket suit. The whole. And a lot of I've even heard some people saying there wasn't a lot of action, which I disagree with. I mean, I thought the third act was a ton of action. Between the science building that they were going through, that was awesome. And then the whole plane scene, and then inside, shrunk into the briefcase and fighting, and then the house fighting. There was a lot of stuff going on at the end there. So I had fun with it. I really had fun with it, for me personally, I'm dating myself. When he shrunk down and you could see all this, stuff from his ant size, it kind of reminded me of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids a little bit, and I really enjoyed that film as well as a kid. So I know a lot of kids will enjoy Ant-Man because of that, I thought it was fun when he was shrunken down and he was, befriending the ants and flying on them, and this whole ant army that he has, he can talk to and do things for him, and he was going through drain pipes and stuff, and just overall, just ant size, very cool concept, very interesting, very fun. I think I had more fun with this film than Age of Ultron. I really did. I really enjoyed this one. And then the whole Falcon scene where he infiltrates into the Avengers base. I did not see that coming. And then the whole Falcon scene where he is actually fighting the Falcon. I did not expect the Falcon to show up, and I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was very fun. And then the whole end credit scene where they actually find the Winter Soldier. That was a cool scene too. They show Cap, they show Winter Soldier, Falcon. So so it lets you know, setting you up for Civil War. Hey, we found the Winter Soldier, but it also sets up, hey, I know a guy. So he's going to try to recruit Ant-Man to help infiltrate. I think it was like Hydra or something to that effect. I enjoyed this film. It was very much a heist film. I mean, Edgar Wright was directing this film, co-wrote this film years and years ago. He was attached very long time, so you can see his signature all over this film. Peyton Reed takes over after, creative differences, I guess, with this story. Things changed throughout the years. They had to change some things up. I guess Edgar Wright didn't want to do that anymore. There was some conflict there, but they parted ways. Peyton Reed takes over, and you can still see a lot of Edgar Wright in this film, which is fine because I think it really worked out really well. I think obviously the whole Falcon scene and the Avengers stuff is new. That's all new stuff because I mean they just did that in Ultron. So I mean, that's all new put in. But a lot of the other stuff was probably all Edgar Wright. I mean, I would really like to see what the actual original Edgar Wright thing was without the other stuff put in. But overall, I think they did a fantastic job. I really did. And this film, unfortunately, is not doing as well as I think it could. But it's not doing like Guardians of the Galaxy numbers, which is another obscure property like Ant-Man. And I thought for sure Ant-Man would do a little bit better than it's doing now. But I think it's got some legs. It'll hang out there and word of mouth and people. I mean, this is a real obscure property, Ant-Man. You know, Guardians of the Galaxy was also obscure, but I think it had like a soundtrack and just the overall feel about it that drew people in. And I think the marketing was a little better too for that as well. So, Guardians of the Galaxy. But this one, the marketing was a little funny on Ant-Man. They didn't do. They did some. I mean, they did do marketing, but it didn't seem like it was just like out there, you know, like Guardians was. But overall, I enjoyed this film. I really did. I enjoyed it more than like Thor 2 and Iron Man 2 and 3, and so yeah, I even enjoyed it more than Ultron, believe it or not. Even though Age of Ultron's awesome, it really is. But I actually enjoyed this more. I really did. I thought it was more fun. But I mean, I'd put it up there with the original Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy, and like the original Thor and all that. I'd put it up there. But yeah, guys. I mean, the whole concept of him being shrunken down, going into this like nether realm. Or like shrinking smaller and smaller and smaller, just like smaller than an atom or something, like into this like nether realm. I mean, that sounds like Doctor Strange stuff to me, like into like another like world or whatever. How he shrunk down, you know. And I know the wife of Hank Pym also had that done to her. They did not show her dying. She could possibly come back at another time, which would be cool. But it sounds like a Doctor Strange type thing to me, like, you know, dealing with other worlds and realms and portals and stuff. I mean, that's what it looked like to me. So maybe that's a small introduction to a Doctor Strange thing, which is very cool because I can't wait for that film. But yeah, guys, I can't wait now for Civil War next year. I think this is a very good, a good solid film for Marvel, and I can't wait for Civil War. I really hope it's off the charts. There's a load of characters in that film, but anyway, guys, I'm gonna give this film about an 8. I really enjoyed it. Maybe an 8.5. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 because I think I gave Ultron an 8, so I'm gonna give this an 8.5. I really enjoyed it. I think Paul Rudd was solid. Michael Douglas was solid. Evangeline Lilly, she's going to be back as the Wasp. I can't wait for her to be back. Corey Stoll character, not much development there, but I liked him as the Yellow Jacket, and I thought he was just a despicable human being. So some comparisons there to Iron Man, but you know, it's not that bad. I mean, I enjoyed it. I liked the opening scene too with Agent Carter and the older. No, I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name now. Oh, I knew I would whiff on that name. But the older characters and the young Michael Douglas, that was just wild. I mean, the way Michael Douglas looked younger, I mean, it was just like, wow, that's amazing. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments below what you thought of the film. Also, please like and subscribe. Howard Stark, that's his name. I just thought of it. Howard Stark, the older Howard Stark. That was the older Howard Stark, too, I think, from like the other Iron Mans, too. So, I mean, that was cool. But anyway, guys, like and subscribe. I do appreciate the support. Write in the comments what you thought of the film. But that will do it for me, guys. I am Chris for Christopher's Entertainment Blog. Thanks a lot, guys. Take it easy.